comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. So hang your stockings and say your prayers, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. He just follows down. So give thanks to the Lord, 'cause Santa
Hi, it's Kelly, Biblical Mommy here, and that is my absolute favorite all-time Christmas movie, and I can't wait till it's on again this year. I need the laughs. Anyway, this is Cancel Culture, Cancels Christmas, and Christianity, another pandemic update, and welcome to Opposite World, the Twilight Zone. And I just wanted to say real quick how grateful I am and thankful I am to have over 400 subscribers. So thank you to those that shared my videos and liked and subscribed. I am so grateful for you. And congratulations to the Jehovah's Witnesses, because you finally got everything you've always wanted. Yeah. No holidays. No holidays for anybody. That's how they want to do this. They want to cancel our traditions and our Christian holidays, or patriotic, old normal holidays of the past. You see where this is going? So I just thought that was a little funny joke, because Jehovah's Witnesses, this is what you've been waiting for. And it's kind of funny how revealing your religion really is, how anti-God, anti-holidays, anti-Christ, and anti-freedom it truly is. Yeah, I'll take a stab at it. It's the false gospel. Anyway, family in New Jersey who literally had relatives come to their home in face masks. And another relative up there in New Jersey who actually limited their Thanksgiving to less than 10 people because the state said so. Okay? And their family is like 15 people. Okay, this is just insane to even talk about, but they are really trying to cancel our culture, our Christian culture. You see where this is really going? I really hope people are starting to see where this is really going. Okay, so take a look at this clip real quick, okay?
If you vote for Biden, it means no kids in school, no graduations, no weddings, no Thanksgiving, no Christmas, and no 4th of July together. Other than that, you have a wonderful life. Can't see anybody, but that's all right. You have a wonderful life.
It's bad when the Grinch stole Christmas. Wait until you hear this. We are now 1 month from Thanksgiving, 2 months until Christmas, and the state of California, which of course means California's Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom, issued crazy new COVID rules that will govern your family's Christmas celebrations this year. By the way, just so we all understand the situation, hospitalizations and deaths from COVID-19 in the state of California are at the lowest numbers that we have seen in 6 months. Nonetheless, Newsom issued a dictate with what he says are, quote, mandatory requirements for all gatherings, end quote. These are the rules summarized. You are not allowed to gather with more than 3 households, including your own. So that means my parents, my husband and me, my older sister and her husband, my younger sister and her husband, my youngest sister and my brother. That's way more than 3 households. Who exactly are we supposed to exclude from our Christmas celebration? We got to chop somebody from the invite list, according to Governor Newsom. Newsom says the host of the gathering is supposed to collect the names and contact information of all people for contact tracing. But how creepy. Merry Christmas. Here's your Christmas gift. But first, name, rank, and serial number for the government. Newsom then says all gatherings must be held outside. But don't worry. Newsom says you are allowed to go to the bathroom inside, but only if the bathroom is frequently sanitized. You're also allowed to gather with just 3 households in an open park, but you are not allowed to jointly plan a gathering with 3 households in the park while other people you know plan a similar gathering with 3 more households also in that same park. The rules are actually this specific. You can look on the California Department of Public Health website, read the official language yourself. Seating for meals at these gatherings must be completely socially distanced, 6 feet in every direction for all the chairs. It's going to take a gigantic kitchen table. And all your food should be in single-serve disposable containers, Newsom says. You have to wear a mask with your family while celebrating Christmas, according to these guidelines. But good news, Newsom says you can briefly remove your mask while you eat, just as long as you're 6 feet away from anybody else. Also, your family party is not allowed to be longer than 2 hours because Newsom says so. Apparently, the coronavirus wants to snoop through your stockings and taste the turkey before he gets to you during hour 3. Singing and music is strongly discouraged, but if you must sing, if you must play music, then Newsom says you are required to wear a mask. And I kid you not, Newsom says you should sing quietly below the volume of a normal speaking voice. These are all mandatory requirements for your gatherings in the state of California as we approach the holiday season. You thought Elf on a Shelf was creepy? That elf ain't got nothing on the tyrant King Gavin. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas.
So I want you to imagine what if the entire nation was under those rules, okay? And they actually were trying to enforce that stuff. Would you then, people who are still reluctant to believe what hour we're in, would you then stop participating in social distancing and masks and COVID religion? Because the more you keep complying, the more steam, the more fuel you're giving them. Church, I'm talking to you. Okay, so here are another couple clips just to show the reality of what's really going on out there in case you're not up to date with what's happening. And then watch this very creepy virtual choir from the Thanksgiving parade. Okay, when I saw this, I was just like, oh, no, we can't do this, guys. We have got to get real and get back to reality because this isn't reality. This is their new normal. They're trying to bring us into a distant world where there's no closeness. Everything is, well, you'll see.
Last time I recorded a message, we were still hoping this year to have these concerts for you, and they would have been the first concerts with an audience back at Severance Hall. As you know, we've been recording for weeks now without an audience, some subscription programs that you can view on our streaming website at Della. Unfortunately, given the state of the pandemic, the incredible surge in new cases in Northeast Ohio, it's simply not possible for us to have these concerts.
This is We Believe, conducted by Judith Klorman.
are living in opposite world here where good is evil, evil is good. And there's a couple scriptures I want to go over. Isaiah 5:20 is the most known one on this subject. Woe to those who call evil good and call good evil, put darkness for light and light for darkness, put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. That is like the verse of now, right now, because that is happening in our world, in our time. And so when I was pulling up the verses for this video, and I knew I was going to use this one, then the Holy Spirit was like, go to chapter 5, go read it. Okay, and I read it. And I know we're not Israel, but we're having the same issues that they were having when Isaiah wrote this. So I'm going to read it because he had me in here in this chapter today. Okay, so let me read it. Isaiah chapter 5, go back, right. So Isaiah chapter 5 says, I will sing for the one I love a song about his vineyard. My loved one had a vineyard on a fertile hillside. He dug it up and cleared it of stones and planted it with the choicest vines. He built a watchtower in it and cut out a winepress as well. Then he looked for a crop of good grapes, but it yielded only bad fruit. Now you dwellers in Jerusalem and people of Judah, judge between me and my vineyard. What more could have been done for my vineyard than I have done for it? When I looked for good grapes, why did it yield only bad? Now I will tell you what I am going to do to my vineyard. I will take away its hedge, and it will be destroyed. I will break down its wall, and it will be trampled. I will make it a wasteland, neither pruned nor cultivated, and briars and thorns will grow there. I will command the clouds not to rain on it. The vineyard of the Lord Almighty is the nation of Israel, and the people of Judah, and the vines he delighted in. And he looked for justice, but saw bloodshed, for righteousness, but heard cries of distress. Woe to you who add house to house and join field to field till no space is left, and you live alone in the land. The Lord Almighty has declared in my hearing, surely the great houses will become desolate, the fine mansions left without occupants. A 10-acre vineyard will produce only a bath of wine. A homer of seed will yield only a ephah of grain. Woe to those who rise early in the morning to run after their drinks, who stay up late at night till they are inflamed with wine. They have harps and lyres, I don't know, and their banquets, pipes and timbrels and wine. But they have no regard for the deeds of the Lord, no respect for the work of his hands. Therefore my people will go into exile for lack of understanding. Those of high rank will die of hunger, and the common people will be parched with thirst. Therefore death expands its jaws, opening wide its mouth. Into it will descend their nobles and masses with their brawlers and revelers. So people will be brought low and everyone humbled. The eyes of the arrogant humbled. But the Lord Almighty will be exalted by his justice, and the holy God will be proved holy by his righteous acts. Then sheep will graze as in their own pasture, lambs will feed among the ruins of the rich. Woe to those who draw sin along with cords of deceit, and wickedness as with cart ropes, to those who say, let God hurry, let him hasten his work, so we may see it. The plan of the Holy One of Israel, let it approach, let it come into view, so we may know it. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe to those who are wise in their own eyes and clever in their own sight. Woe to those who are heroes at drinking wine and champions at mixing drinks, like bartenders, who acquit the guilty for a bribe, but deny justice to the innocent. Therefore, as tongues of fire lick up straw, and as dry grass sinks down in the flames, so their roots will decay, and their flowers blow away like dust. And they have rejected the law of the Lord Almighty, and spurned the word of the Holy One of Israel. Therefore, the Lord's anger burns against his people. His hand is raised, and he strikes them down. The mountains shake, and the dead bodies are like refuse in the streets. Yet for all this, his anger is not turned away. His hand is still upraised. He lifts up a banner for the distant nations. He whistles for those at the ends of the earth. Here they come, swiftly and speedily. Not one of them grows tired or stumbles. Not one slumbers or sleeps. Not a belt is loosened at the waist. Not a sandal strap is broken. Their arrows are sharp. All their bows are strung. Their horses' hooves seem like flint. Their chariot wheels like a whirlwind. Their roar is like that of a lion. They roar like young lions. They growl as they seize their prey, and they carry it off with no one to rescue. In that day they will roar over it like the roaring of the sea. And if one looks at the land, there is only darkness and distress. Even the sun will be darkened by clouds. And then what here, where was it? He looked for justice, but he saw bloodshed. For righteousness, but he heard cries of distress. What's happening in our country? And the part where they rise up early in the morning to run after their drinks, and they stay up late at night, inflamed with wine, and like they party, but they have no regard for the deeds of the Lord. Like they're partying too much. They're not paying attention to God. I'm not sure exactly why the Lord had me in that chapter today when I'm trying to make this video, but we're not Israel, but we are to learn from their mistakes, and we are to be the Lord's people and not fall into the same error that they did, because this is what happens. This is how God reacts to it. Okay, that's the point. The other verses, Romans 12:9. Let love be genuine, abhor what is evil, and hold fast to what is good. We are dealing with, well, at least God has revealed to me that we have a crisis going on, obviously, worldwide for quite some time, you know, with sin. But let's just focus on America right now for a minute. Is well known for being a loving, tolerant people, but not so much in cancer culture, or rather cancel Christian culture error. But we have an increase in a coldness and a fake love. Like, people are getting cold. There is no shortage of fake love out there. Don't hold fast to what is evil. That mask, Christians, is evil. That social distancing, Christians, that's evil. I really do not care anymore if Christians believe the narrative or the junk science or the unbeliever atheist scientists out there or whatever the satanic BS that they are being fed. Side note, damaged right now. And your church needs to get back to pre-COVID style everything before they are judged because it's getting sinful. Like back to pre-COVID everything. Stop worrying about any of it. They are hurting their own with the restrictions, the shutdowns, the ministry shutdowns. They are participating in the very evil that God is allowing to happen, but they're being a part of it. So just hold that thought. Okay, so here's another verse. Matthew 24:12. And because lawlessness or sin will be increased, the love of many will grow cold. So in opposite world, even the church is cold. A good amount of it. Cold love, if there's such a thing. I know all too well what I'm talking about right now. Unfortunately, for some reason, God blesses me with the ability to experience what is coming. I have no idea why I've been chosen for that, but according to him, it's special. In Twilight Zone, or opposite world, I have noted the following. It is now evil to breathe fresh air in public. You are a bad person if you do not self-suffocate yourself for the greater good and for others. You are to assume your breath is contagious and poisonous at any moment. It could infect your fellow citizens, and that would be so selfish of you if you killed someone. So by all means, suffocate your own children, deprive their lungs of oxygen, just so that they can get an indoctrinated education where they are taught to hate their own country and everything is racist. In opposite world, hiding your face is now a virtue. No one wants to show who they are. They enjoy dressing like a thug. Being rude is totally acceptable, especially to anyone who is not brainwashed or covered up. Your health care is no longer priority. Staying indoors like a hermit, neglecting yourself, is to be praised. Did I have? In opposite world, freedom is wrong. It's selfish, and how dare you even think about it? America is the great Satan in opposite world. Working out in the gym is not allowed unless you want to breathe in your own CO2 as you work out. Opposite world, Twilight Zone, new normal. Smiles are not allowed. People hate smiles now. Hugs? Forget it. There is no hugging allowed in opposite world. Hugging is a sign of violence. You could kill someone with that hug. You got germs, don't you know that? In opposite world, pointing guns at people's heads is a good thing. It's in no way hostile. And aren't these the same people who got mad at squirt guns? It don't mean anything. It just shows a business is looking out for everyone. Opposite world, lying is a language. Lying media, lying leaders, deception is just a way of life now. If you ain't lying too, you ain't hip or cool. At least lie to yourself. Okay. In opposite world, family is bad. No family. You stay in your house. You do not have company. You do not go on visits. That is absolutely disgusting in opposite world. Holidays? What are you thinking? Are you trying to spread disease? World. Isolation? That is holy now. It is the only way to live. In opposite world, Twilight Zone, you can't trust anyone. Suspicion and paranoia, that is just a trademark of the ages. World, negative is positive and positive is negative and wrong is right and right is wrong and evil is good and good is evil and having fun is bad and not having fun is good and love is bad and hate is good. You get my drift? I got all that. Okay, so I know I'm being sarcastic. That's kind of the point in this video. But now let's talk about the church for a minute because I'm Biblical Mommy and discernment, public discernment announcement. Now let's talk about the church. If your church has canceled Christmas, let's say it has canceled Christmas parties, kids' Christmas shows, choir performances, fellowship meals, and fellowship meals, I would strongly advise you, Christian, run from that church and never go back. If there has ever been a sign of a fallen church, it will be no Christmas allowed. I am just saying, I personally know of churches who did indeed cancel Thanksgiving. Church, you need to put your foot down and stop caving to paranoid unbelievers and their dictators. We still have freedom, and it's not a law to listen to these people. Go find a less fearful, conforming set of Christians to worship God with, because when times get hard, and they will, any church like that now, they are not going to be there for each other later. They are already cold. I am just telling you that. That's what God has shown me. So, yeah. So keep the reason for the season really the reason for the season. Jesus first. He has been, Jesus first. It has been a long year, and even longer year for the suffering and the brokenhearted and the hurting. Whether believer or unbeliever, people need church more than ever. God is calling his people back to himself, and we, the church, need to be open. Our buildings need to be open. So many years of everyone acting like what God says doesn't really matter, and the age of ignorance is long over. The age of not knowing scripture is done. You need to know it, and you need to know it well. The era of the megachurch and the shallow, fake, motivational, prosperity gospel-like era, that's about to come crashing down. It is time to get local and plugged in. You're gonna need it. The falling away is happening. God is putting things in position very quickly. This is not a fluke, nor is it a joke. There is no more time for playing church, no more time for catchphrases of be the church. Really be the church. That's not just a saying. Really be the church then. Do not use that phrase as an excuse to do nothing because it's opposite world where church is bad. God is bad. The Bible is bad. And God's people are bad in opposite world. And Satan's ways and sin are good. Do not fall into that. stay strong and celebrate Christmas this year, because he came once, he will come again, and he will come again soon. And that is worth celebrating. So thank you for watching, and I will be back soon, and love you all, and have a very Merry Christmas. And it's the last month of 2020. We made it to the last month of 2020. I don't know what 2021 is going to be, but everyone, right now, give yourself a pat on the back, give yourself a hug, because you just got through the craziest year of our lifetime. One more month of this year, 2020. Perfect vision. So let's see what is in store for next year. But church, get real. Everybody, get real. And thank you. Bye.